Lucy, Superintendent of Schools, 1200 Myrtle Avenue. I'm here this evening to discuss a matter regarding what I consider to be a personal attack against my character and reputation. But most importantly, it is also involves what I personally believe is misuse of city equipment and resources. As a member of this community, and very proud of the emergency management system and the alert system that is provided by the city, I was quite shocked to hear that this actual robocall system, which I depend upon to provide me with valuable information about my community, was used to broadcast misleading information about me, a public official. And what many people don't realize is that you can actually make comments about public officials that are not true. It's the point of when you make public comments about city officials when you knowingly know that they're misleading and that the information is not accurate. At that point, it becomes libel. Any comment that's made about any resident, particularly a public official, utilizing city resources, the city is also engaged in libel behavior. And I just wanted to point that out. I wanted to speak particularly regarding the issue at hand, which dealt with a robocall that was distributed throughout the entire city of Plainfield. The tone was unprofessional, it was inflammatory, and it was also misleading. And it had to do with the Youth Summit. The Youth Summit, which was being provided by the City of Plainfield and the Plainfield Board of Education. There were comments that were made that the event was abruptly canceled by an executive decision issued by the superintendent. No notification or reason was given for the decision to cancel the event. And despite this action by the superintendent, and once again, my name personally was mentioned several times in the announcement throughout the entire city of Plainfield, that the event would continue under the Honorable Mayor Matt's administration, and that it would take place sometime in the early part of 2016. And it was implied without the partnership of the Plainfield Public School System. I want to go over some very basic facts regarding the event in which the first meeting that was held with me was on September 24th. The second meeting took place on October 26th and followed with a meeting with myself as well as several members of my staff on October 30th. On Saturday, October 31st, there was a special Board of Education meeting which was properly published to the entire community that dealt with Plainfield High School and high school master schedule. It was decided at that meeting that a project would move forward aggressively to totally change the schedule from a block schedule to a single session schedule. We have over 1,600 students in our schools. Immediately on the following Monday, I contacted the city administrator, Mr. Rick Smiley, and I indicated to Mr. Smiley that due to the special circumstances that were taking place and the due date to accomplish this particular activity, which was November 12th, which fell on the exact date of the summit, that we would not be able to have the summit on that day.
I make a
And
motion that she's given more time to speak.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
I respectfully ask that the event take place on the 13th. Apologize for any inconvenience, indicated that my administration would do whatever it took to make sure that it was be a successful event for the children of Plainfield, and that we would have the opportunity to ensure that all children in Plainfield, all youth in Plainfield would have an opportunity to attend. So it was not canceled, a request for postponement for one day. Anyone that knows about the city of Plainfield, we have postponed events for one day or greater. We have worked together, collaboratively together, to make these things happen. And in no way was it meant to be disrespectful to the city, or in no way did it mean that I did not care about the children of Plainfield. The fact that my administration was moving forth for children and families to aggressively put together a new schedule to provide additional electives to meet their needs showed a commitment. Anyone that knows me, anyone that has known and worked with youth summits in this community over the last 10 or 15 years, whether or not I was in the forefront, I was somehow involved, providing whatever support and assistance. So in no way did I purposely cancel a youth summit for children in this community. The character assassination, and I'm going to call it that, the character assassination also impacts how people, individual employees under my supervision, as well as the 7,600 children, view me as a leader. Everyone knows that two main entities in this community is the Board of Education and the city. There are two top administrators in this community, which is the Superintendent of Schools and the Mayor. The Plainfield Board of Education has worked closely with the city, will continue to work closely with the city. I will continue personally to do whatever it takes to ensure that that relationship flourishes and continues. Because at the bottom line, I care about the entire city of Plainfield. Not just the Board of Education, not just Annabelle and Piles, but the entire community. And in every action I make, I consider the community. So I was extremely disappointed that my name, my reputation, was being personally attacked to the entire community, when the entire community is not involved in the youth summit. I could have very easily utilized my own message system to send out a message to counteract what was said about me. And I chose not to, because that is not productive. That is not the direction I want to move. I feel that I want to continue to work closely with the city, will continue to work closely with the city, and to do whatever it takes to ensure that our young people advance as well as this community. So thank you for your time.
I'm very concerned about the superintendent's remarks with reference to what happened with the mayor's, I'm going to call it the Mayor's Youth Summit. And of course, we don't know, I don't understand why it was called off. But I do have a problem when we all received the communications that it was only because of a change of date. That was not the way it was presented. I received the robocalls, as many of our citizens did, and I questioned, and I was rather concerned, frankly, because I thought, oh my God, we got a riff already. And now to find out that there was not a riff, I am concerned, and I hope that the mayor, or I thought the city administrator would be here, so he could explain, why would you do that? When in fact, it was not in any way a riff with reference to the partnering to do the youth summit. It was just a matter of requesting another day. And to use the robocalls in such a sort of like demeaning and somewhat political way, to me does not seem to be the intent of the robocalls, which I believe are very good to inform us as citizens what's going on in the city. Getting quite a few of them, but at least more information is better than not having any, so I'll put up with it. But this was not that type of thing, and I really would like an explanation. And then if not an explanation, we need to talk to the corporation counsel as to legally why is that acceptable, because I don't think it was. So can we get some kind of, I feel bad about it, as an educator myself and retired principal, we need to work in concert with the Board of Ed. There are a couple other things that happened and were thrown away too. The memorandum of agreement. We were trying to work together with shared services. All of a sudden that's gone. So I'm not going to accuse the Honorable, since he's here tonight, but I do want an explanation. I think we deserve some sort of an explanation of why was that kind of communication sent out as a so-called robocall, which is information, and it turned into some sort of, I don't want to say character assassination, but it really was not in the best interest of building a partnership or a coalition between the city and the Board of Ed. So can someone give us an explanation at some point? Would that be possible? Honorable.
You need it now?
No, I'm talking about from his perspective. I don't understand.
Let me respond, Council President, with your permission. Let me respond simply by saying this. The youth summit was canceled by the superintendent of schools. The superintendent informed us that she made an executive decision to cancel the youth summit. There's nothing more that I can add to that.
No explanation. Okay, that's your. So in other words, she just canceled without corresponding with us, is what you're saying, with the city.
I am telling you what the superintendent communicated to the city of Plainfield, that it was her executive decision to cancel the youth summit. We invested lots of time. We had commitment from individuals, from professionals, for a youth summit that was to be on November 13th. We had the community that participated in the planning of the youth summit. And when people are committed, as the professionals were, to the date of November 13th, and we're informed on the Monday that an executive decision was made, the youth summit was canceled. And don't take my word for it. You can speak to members of my team.
But again, even if that were the case, I think it's rather interesting that it was in your mind, but why wasn't there some sort of a go back with trying to communicate with her as to what happened? I mean, that doesn't seem like and subsequent partnering that we want to do with the Board of Ed. So I don't quite understand. I hear what you're saying, and I understand why you felt that way. But then to take that as an executive leader to then put robocalls to the whole citizens, that makes no sense to me.
We do have the Board of Education president here. That would like to offer, shed some light.
I would like to just say something really quickly first, if you don't mind. We could spend a lot of time talking about what happened and what didn't happen. The only thing I'm really interested in hearing is, are all parties willing to come back to the table and make it? This youth summit will be the most successful if the city and the Board of Education do it together. So I don't really care anymore about what happened in the past. I only care to hear that
students, and having an event on that day of November 13th would have been a direct conflict with educational plans. So, you know, I don't think we're playing semantics here. I think the fact is what you presented to the board was that the event, she proposed rescheduling it, not canceling it. Canceling it means I have no plans for the future for this event to take place. That was not the position that the superintendent presented to the Board of Education members. She indicated that she wanted it to be rescheduled because it conflicted with the educational plans for the students in the district. Those are the facts that were presented to the Board of Education.
And colleague, Councilman Stewart, asked the question, would you guys be willing to reschedule?
I believe that the district, the educators in the district have already began the groundwork for such an event to take place. So I believe that that's already in the makings. And I'm sure that there is an openness to have a collaborative effort because we're talking about the students in the district. And who better than the educators who have built rapport, relationships, understands what their educational needs are, who better than those professionals to be involved in developing a program such as a teen summit. So yes, I believe that they are receptive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.